I look over and he's like flooring it, but he's asleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey. And
So he's asleep.
he's
Driving super fast.
right. Because it's, dead weight.
Right.
Dead weight on the pedal. So he was just flooring it. And I'm like, hey. And we go straight through. We go straight through the T road, straight through a church gate, right into the church. We totally took out the whole church. All of it was gone.
Jesus was like,
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Istanbul Sour. Today, here we are with Ken. So, Ken, go ahead. Introduce yourself. Go ahead, man. Introduce yourself.
I'm Ken. I'm 23 from Southern California. I guess I'm kind of a fresh face in the city. I've been here for permanently for a month, but I've been coming on and off since 2021.
Nice. Great. So, how's Istanbul?
Crazy. A circus.
Okay.
But I love it though.
How come? What was your first impression?
So when I came in 2021, it was like the honeymoon phase.
Oh, yeah.
Like being in a new place, being in a new place, and everyone's so nice to you.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone's so nice to you, and yeah, it was great when I came in 2021. But now being here at the mid 2023, it's a bit different. Economics wise, hospitality wise, everything's a bit different, but it's been a good experience.
Nice. Good to know. So let's start from the beginning, and let's go back to California when you were born. So would you like to tell us where you born and what's your childhood story?
Yeah, so I was born in a small town in Southern California. It's called Brawley, California. It's in the Imperial Valley. So there's Brawley, Hopeville, Calipat, Westmoreland, El Centro, Imperial, Hopeville, and then Calexico. And then from there it goes into Mexico.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what about that place? What's special about that place?
Nothing.
Thank you for the honesty. That was nice.
We have a really strong Mexican heritage culture.
Yeah.
A lot of street food, a lot of dancing, banda is what we call it.
Nice.
It was an experience.
I see.
Yeah.
So what about this California? Why everybody's so obsessed with California? I mean, everybody's hearing about California as such a place. Every movie, every song, Californian dream, Californian sun.
Right.
What's going on with that?
So it's a very beautiful state. We're right on the coast. We have the Golden Gate Bridge, Balboa Park, different parts of California that you can go
California
to.
today.
Right now. But yeah, I think it's just very diverse. You can go to Northern California and get a very different vibe from Southern California. Southern California, we're all beachy and whatnot. Northern California is more cold and snowy, and
I see.
Yeah.
So what about your childhood? How did you used to have fun in California? What was the entertainment like?
So for us living in the desert, we would go out to Glamis and we would ride dune buggies, four-wheelers. We'd be out in the sand dunes. But for people who wanted a different type of feel, most people would go to Mission Beach in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
So that's like big boardwalk, roller coasters, stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And the food?
Mostly Mexican food.
Yeah, you mentioned that you guys used to go to Mexico.
Yeah.
So what was that story?
So Mexico is just a point of contact for dental appointments, medical appointments, good food, dancing.
How long does it take from your city to go to Mexico?
From Brawley to Mexico, maybe about 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
And is it difficult to get into Mexico?
No. You just walk right through.
It's difficult to get in.
It's difficult to get back. Right. As long as you have your birth certificate and ID card.
A U.S. birth certificate.
Right.
Not just a birth certificate.
Right. Yeah. As long as you have a American ID, you're good to go.
Yeah. Nice. And the food there. So how was it like going to Mexico, having food there, and was it safe there?
Yeah. It's gotten less safe recently, but for when I was going between 99 to maybe 2016. It was pretty safe.
Okay.
It was the party city.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mexico City, Baja. That's like the.
Is there any food you can recommend? Mexican food? Other than taco?
Pozole, tamales, menudo. There's a bunch.
It's really difficult to find good, decent Mexican food here in Istanbul, to be honest.
The only good place that I found is Rancheros.
Rancheros.
Yeah,
that was like the best that you could find.
That was the best that you could find. Yeah, or that I could find. Yeah.
I see. Cool. Going to school in the States, in California, how was it like going to high school?
So I was the only fair-skinned, I guess you should say, person that was going to school in my district. I mean, there was a few of us, but I was one of the ones that didn't come from money. Like my parents weren't farmers. We didn't really have resources, so. Yeah. I felt, I don't know if this was, because, perception's reality.
Oh, yeah,
so
true.
I felt kind of less than. But I don't know if that was the reality of the situation. But it was challenging.
Was it challenging? Yeah. Like, did you want to share a challenge that you experienced back then?
So I'm finding that, or I found that people where I was located were very conservative, not very open-minded to.
What does it mean, conservative, when we use it for Americans?
Like value-based. Like they're very, like their heritage is very. It's very prominent.
Religious?
Religious. Just the things that they tolerate are different.
I see.
But that's the way for every walk of life.
Of course, yeah. Totally. Yeah, cool. So, going to school, did you like going to school back then?
No. I actually dropped out of high school. I don't think I told you that. I dropped out of school while I was in California. I did end up finishing, but
cool.
I didn't want to continue school.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I asked you a question. Now I'm planning to ask you again.
Yeah.
Would you ask California on a date?
Yeah, I would. I would. Like I told you, the relationship that we have would be very toxic. But I think everybody has that kind of where you come from. Kind of has like a place in your heart always.
Oh, yeah.
And
I know that feeling. I'm dating Istanbul.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would never talk down on my state. I would never. There's some things that I would like to see change, but I would never.
Anything you would like to mention that you would want to see change?
The homeless crisis, how we've enabled people to use drugs on the street and just be okay with being okay.
That's not okay.
No. I would like to see better for the people that are in my state, but and I'm sure you guys can attest to that here. It's not.
So you would ask California on a date, and where would you take California out for dinner?
Like I told you before, it would be somewhere away from the public. It would be a nice adventurous outing, maybe up in the hills somewhere where she couldn't scream and. All
right, California,
and throw a fit. But yeah, I think it would be a nice candlelit picnic.
Nice. Yeah. Do you guys have picnic culture in California?
Yeah, I would say it's more in NorCal, so Northern California, maybe in San Francisco areas where there's nice plateaus, areas to do that. Yeah.
I see. Your favorite city in California?
City or town?
Town.
Where my grandma lives is called Wrightwood, California.
Wrightwood, California.
Yeah, and it's a 2-mile stretch, so it's 2 miles long. It's a very tight knit community. They have different festivals, events. Everyone knows everyone. The population is 3,000, so everyone. 3,000, so everyone knows everyone. It's kind of hidden away in the mountains. It's a nice place. That's where I spent most of my summers because it gets really, really, really cold there. It snows
during summer.
A lot. Yeah.
Wow.
It can get hot during summer, but we have the lake and different recreational activities to do.
Guys, let's just close down and go to California. I see. Great. Nice.
Outsource.
Yeah. So I also, you mentioned that you've lived in a military town in the United States. I guess for most Turkish people, they have no idea about what's a military town and what is the experience living in a military town. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was living in Jacksonville, North Carolina for about 6 years, 6 years. It's a different type of experience. You kind of have everyone from all walks of life. Like I told you before, you kind of have to be living in the States for a long while to join the military, but we had people from Philippines, Iran, different people from all walks of life that join the military and want to serve the country, and they're kind of constituted in one area. So Jacksonville, Fayetteville, not so much Raleigh and Charlotte. Those are the bigger cities. Party culture is huge.
Party culture is huge in a military town.
Huge. People love to party.
What's it like partying in a U.S. military town?
I want to say dangerous.
Too many guns.
Lots of testosterone. But it's fun. You always have people around that you know will protect you, and it's a good time.
Nice.
It's a good time.
Good.
It's a unique experience for sure. Yeah.
I guess so. And you had something with animals.
Yeah. So so my parents took me to SeaWorld in '99 for the first time when I was a baby, but my mom had been going when she was pregnant with me. So I kind of always had the attachment to marine mammals. Before that, my great grandparents had taken my grandma to Marineland of the Pacific, which is in LA. They opened in '53 and they closed in '83 when SeaWorld San Diego bought them out. So they transferred those animals to SeaWorld San Diego, and I've continued seeing those same animals throughout my entire life. So it's been kind of a unique and special experience that I don't think many people get to.
I guess so. Can you explain a little bit more? You also mentioned that something about military animals.
Yeah, so the Navy has a program where they acquire marine mammals for their...
Marine mammals. Wow.
So dolphins, whales, and they do... like operations, like finding IEDs in the ocean.
Can I take your IEDs?
In the ocean and different stuff like that. So when I was living on the coast, we definitely saw our fair share of marine mammals. For
wow.
Sure. Yep.
Wow. And are they trained for like years?
Yeah. So they train them with they strap them up with the vest, the GoPro, and they train them to find different things in the water, certain threats and stuff like that.
What do you think about that as a concept? You've been with animals quite a long time.
Yeah. So I don't think it's the most moral thing to do. It's not probably a borderline barbaric. Having animals do a job. But I mean, I guess that can be said for everybody and everything.
Sure.
So yeah, a borderline barbaric.
I see. Yeah. So what is your favorite animal?
A killer whale or Sinusorca.
Why?
Because they're probably the most they're the apex predator, so they're at the top of the food chain. They're above human beings. They relate closely to humans. If you took an x-ray of their pectoral flippers, you'd see 5 fingers. If you took an x-ray of their flukes, you'd see 2 legs. Right. They're really closely related to humans. They have a deep emotional connection with their offspring. They're most like us.
Nice.
Besides maybe monkeys, apes.
Yeah. Chimps. Maybe.
Yeah.
So you, at some point, you visited Istanbul. What was the purpose of first visit?
So I first came here on September 27th of 2021.
Okay, 2021.
And that was kind of, maybe peak COVID. And we, in the States, we were getting the stimulus checks. So I kind of saved all 3 of those and some more money that I had gotten from school. And I was like, let's take a trip. And I Really wanted to get my nose fixed because I had a huge bump and I was so disgusting when I would take pictures. It's gross. So
It looks great now.
Thank you. Made in Turkey.
Made in Turkey. Nose made in Turkey.
Right. And I was kind of looking up where the nose job capital of the world. First was Iran, and then second was Turkey.
We did it, guys.
Yeah.
Arkadaşlar biz yaptık ya.
Second was and second was Turkey. So I came over here. I got in contact with the medical tourism company here, and they kind of set everything up, and here I am.
Nice. So, before visiting Turkey, did you know anything about it? Did you know where you're getting it?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Really?
Nope.
And then you visited Istanbul first. It was Istanbul.
Yeah,
right?
it was Istanbul.
What did you think? Did you have any prejudice, any judgments before you visit the city? Like
Yeah, so everyone
assumptions, pre-assumptions.
Yeah. So everyone in the States has this idea that you guys are like everyone's like super religious and and I was talking with people in my last session that I had, and they were telling me about kind of their qualms with the Middle East, and I was telling them, everybody considers Turkey the Middle East, right? No one kind of separates the two, and the Middle East doesn't have the best reputation in the Western world, so that was kind of hard for my family to accept. Yeah.
And did you have to convince them, or it was like, I'm gonna do it, guys? You gotta accept.
No, they didn't. Up until I went on the plane, they were like, "No way are you doing this?" And I'm like, "I'm going."
Okay.
Yeah, and I had a friend take me to the airport. I had never even flown.
Wow.
Never even flown on a plane.
Serious? That was the first time.
First time.
And I was like, U.S. to Turkey.
Yep. And I flew from Wilmington, North Carolina to D.C., from D.C. to Germany, and then Germany to here.
Wow. So with all the assumptions and pre-assumptions, the first impression, how did you feel?
It was great. I was treated like royalty. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. Really hospitable, really nice, catered to all my needs. Also, the economy was in a bit of a better state than what it is now. So it was nice. I had a pretty luxurious vacation. It was awesome.
Your family were worried or something? Like, did you talk to them? And
I talked to them the whole way through. I got like the Wi-Fi on the plane to like update everyone, and it was all good.
Nice. What was that first site in Istanbul that really made you felt impressed seeing that?
The palace, the Dolmabahce Palace.
Dolmabahce Palace. What about it?
Everything was so gold and shiny and new, and it looked new.
Did you get into the palace?
Yeah. I did the whole tour and got told, don't take pictures. Yeah, it was a sight to see. It was breathtaking. We don't have anything like that in the States.
Yeah.
With such a rich history.
Right.
Going back that far.
True.
I mean, our country's only but so old. Yeah. So it was awesome.
Nice. Good to know. And now you live in Istanbul. Then at some point you decided to move to Istanbul.
Yeah.
What was that about?
So I moved from North Carolina to Phoenix, Arizona, maybe a year and a half ago. And that was kind of going back to my roots. So Phoenix is really close to where I was living in California. Phoenix is like right on the border. And I wasn't really too happy about kind of regressing back to where I came from. And I felt kind of stuck. So I just decided one day I was in Phoenix and had a few drinks, which probably isn't too great. And I texted
just a few drinks.
Just a few.
Just a few drinks.
Just a few. That's all it took. Have a few drinks, you'll end up in Istanbul.
Just 2 beers.
Yeah. And so I texted my mom and I was like, I really want to go. Like, this is something I want to do. I have friends out there. I have people who like, I'm in good network with people. And she was like, okay. And we booked a ticket and the rest is history.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So this was the third place you lived? California?
I lived in California, North Carolina, South Carolina. I spent some time in Florida.
Florida as well?
Yeah. Arizona, and now I'm here.
Okay. Gotta ask you two things. First, craziest thing ever happened to you in the States? Like one of those crazy memories of yours.
Yeah, so I think I told you a little bit about this, but
Right. That's what I want to hear.
yeah. So I was one of my friends was living in South Carolina, and I would frequent South Carolina often. He was a truck driver. He would go back and forth to pick me up because I didn't have a car. He had picked me up one day after, I think it was an 18-hour shift of driving. He drove 5 hours from Heath Springs, South Carolina to Jacksonville, North Carolina. It was actually Swansboro, North Carolina, which is a little bit further, more coastal on the water.
Nice.
He had picked me up, and we were driving back to Heath Springs. Huh?
What was the car model?
I think it was a Fiat. It was
Okay.
it was
like a big car?
No.
Because I'm,
Yeah, not a big car. It was a little car.
Okay.
It was a little Fiat. I think maybe a Fiat 500, something like that.
Okay.
But he had picked me up, and we were driving back to Heath Springs in South Carolina. We had just crossed the border of North Carolina to South Carolina, and we were in Bishopville, South Carolina, and we were coming up to a T road. So you stop, and you can either go right or left. I had told him, I said, it looks like you're getting tired. Like, let me drive. I can just drive the rest of the way, an hour and a half, 2 hours. He was like, no, I'm fine. So I looked down at my phone, and I'm like getting sucked back in my seat. And I look over, and he's like flooring it, but he's asleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey. And
So he's driving super fast.
right, because it's, dead weight,
Right.
dead weight on the pedal. So he was just flooring it, and I'm like, hey, and we go straight through. We go straight through the T road, straight through a church gate, right into the church. We totally took out the whole church. All of it was gone.
Jesus was like,
yeah. He was like, what?
Man?
Yeah, and I felt really grateful to survive that in a little car, going through
You went all the way into the church.
all the way. I couldn't open the door because we were being blocked by the
cross.
the pew. The seats in the church. I was like, what the hell? And I got out of his side. He was bleeding and all types of stuff, but he was still asleep. So his nose was broken, blood coming out of his nose, arm
I
broken.
should be laughing at this. It's really funny.
No, it's okay. You can laugh. I laughed too after the whole situation.
Nobody died here,
I'm here. Nobody died.
Oh, yeah.
So he was still asleep. Then I'm like,
the bishop or something?
yeah. So I was like, but both of our phones got lost in the whole. So I had my phone in my hand.
Jesus took him.
Right. Jesus was like, so the phones were gone. So we had to go out into the street and wave down people at like 3 a.m.
Hey.
And they were like, nobody was stopping. They were like, oh, hell no. And eventually somebody did stop and call the ambulance, call the police. They came, but the bishop came right after that. He was like, oh my God, my church.
My Lord.
Yeah, he was like, my church is gone. And this was a Saturday night, mind you. This was a Saturday night. He was getting ready to wake up in a couple hours to come to this church.
And it's gone now.
Right, it's gone.
What are you gonna do with the church?
It's gone. So he's like, oh my God. He's like crying and everything's all dramatic. And eventually he's like, I'm so glad you guys are okay. I'm gonna pray for you. And blah blah. I was like,
you're gonna pray for us? Because the church is gone.
I was like, I don't deserve your prayers. I was like, I feel so bad. I was like, all this stuff, and and yeah. So we see on Facebook the next day they had church outside. And and that was the most.
I wish you guys could join.
Right, and that was the
We did it.
Right, and then I see like pictures of the church, and I'm like, oh no,
We ruined the church.
yeah. And then my mom's like posting it on Facebook. She's like, thank God. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
my son
don't.
did it.
Yeah, I'm like, don't post that. No. But yeah, that was that's probably the craziest thing that's happened to me
In the States. That was like almost a near-death experience.
right.
Anything crazy in Florida?
It's Florida.
Because most Turkish people, it's very interesting. When I moved to Turkey, every time we talk about the states, people tell me like, yeah, Texas is crazy. I'm like, because you didn't hear about Florida.
Right. So I think maybe the craziest thing that's happened in Florida, I was with two of my older friends, like way older, like 60 years old, like way older. And then another guy that was in my age range. And I guess we cut somebody off inadvertently. We didn't mean
So
to.
you guys are in a car.
Right. So I guess we cut somebody off inadvertently, didn't mean to, but probably I don't really care if we did. But
I mean, I went to the church.
Right. So he zoomed into the left lane and then zoomed in front of us, brake checked us. So he like slammed on his brakes. We almost flew into his car. And then the person who was driving the car got super mad. So it was like a race to the finish, like a battle on the road. And the guy was like, he pulled off into a Speedway. Speedway is a gas station we have in the States. He pulled off and he was like waving his gun at us. And and he was like waving his gun at us. And we we were still talking our mess. And he started firing his gun.
His gun?
And I was like, just go. I was like, he was like,
are you serious? The guy started shooting at you guys.
Yeah.
Damn.
From the parking lot. He wasn't he wasn't about it. If he was, it would have been point blank range. But yeah, that was probably the craziest thing that's happened in Florida. I really only went to Florida to go to the SeaWorld park there.
And something happened.
Yeah.
That's your answer. Yeah. Cool.
I blame everyone else though.
Nice. Thank you for sharing those great memories.
Yeah.
So moving back to Istanbul, where do you live in Istanbul?
Üsküdar.
How is it like?
Conservative, family oriented, lots of parks and praying and all the good stuff, you know.
Great, wonderful. You're enjoying your time in Üsküdar.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. People of Üsküdar are going to watch this.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I love Üsküdar.
Yes, nice. So, but tomorrow, I guess you're going to be moving out of Üsküdar.
Yeah, to Kadıköy. Yeah.
No matter why. So now in Istanbul, would you say that Dolmabahce is your favorite location in Istanbul? Favorite place in Istanbul right now?
Yeah, that's why I frequent the most. I've done the tour so many times.
Cool. I guess one thing Turkish people would love to hear about would be food, Turkish food. Tell us about your journey with Turkish food.
So my favorite dessert, baklava.
Baklava.
Mm-hmm. And every Turkish
baklava?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And every Turkish person has told me, I understand it's not Greek. It's Turkish.
It's Turkish,
we
bro.
understand. Right. And then my favorite like food, like what I would eat maybe after a night of drinking Adana kebab.
Adana kebab.
Yeah, so good.
Hadi be, Adana kebab.
So good.
Yeniden geldi.
So
great.
Good. Yeah.
So what do you like about Adana kebab? The texture? Is it the
spice?
The spice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Any favorite restaurant? Any favorite place to hang out with your friends? Any favorite drinking spot, bar?
My favorite like cafe, like place to get tea, coffees on the Euro side in Beşiktaş.
Okay.
It's Parodia Coffee House, something like that cafe. It's nice because it's like all the cafes are like inside outside, but I like to like sit on the street and people watch. Like to see what's going on.
That's nice. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Now, living in the States, you had to drive around.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Istanbul,
You don't.
How does it feel? Like the public transportation change?
Yeah, that's actually a conversation that I had while I was at one of the cafes with somebody who was at the cafe. They were asking me about the situation with public transport in the United States. And I was like, well, here,
drive.
Right. Everything here is 2-3 miles away. So you can catch a cab, you could catch a transit, a public bus, whatever, the ferry.
Oh, yeah.
But in the States, it's 20, 30, 40, 50 miles apart. That's not really feasible to have public transport for that
distance. Yeah,
so,
true.
Yeah.
Are you feeling comfortable with public transportation in Istanbul?
No.
What about it? Is it too packed?
Yeah,
Crowded?
it's too crowded,
Metrobus?
too packed. Yeah, too crowded, too packed.
People touching.
Yeah, it's I haven't really wrapped my mind around the whole thing yet. I mean, I take the ferry from.
That's what I was gonna
nice.
say.
Yeah.
Your favorite one would be ferry, right?
Yeah, for
ferry
sure.
is nice.
Because in Üsküdar, I can, and I know I was talking to Luis, and she, I said that I had walked to Kadıköy from Üsküdar. She was like, "You walked 30 minutes?" And
Yeah,
I
that's
was
what I
like,
was gonna ask.
that's
You walked 30
very
minutes?
short. That's a very short time to walk. I was like, yeah, I walked 30 minutes. That's a very short time to walk. I've walked hours in the States. I would walk.
is, guys.
I walked.
Çok uzak ya.
I-
40 dakika mı yani? Çok ya çok.
I think the longest I've walked here is like an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
And that's whatever. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's free.
I like walking, by the way.
Yeah.
I walk hours
Yeah.
myself, yeah.
And-
But I don't walk to travel to
Right,
places. I
right.
just walk.
Right. And I mean, the food here is so oily. It has a lot of fat, and
Right.
it's a good cardio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
True. Nice. Anything crazy experience in Istanbul? I asked you about crazy experience in the
Yeah.
States. Anything crazy in Istanbul?
Yeah. So actually, a few days ago, I went to the dentist.
The dentist.
Yeah, because I wanted to get like the Hollywood smile, the smile makeover,
You're like
whatever.
customizing the whole
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, I'm never going back to factory settings. Never going back. But I wanted to get a feel for. So I think the medical tourism industry, they have like a sense that everyone's here for a limited amount of time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm here. I live here.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't need to start treatment today. I don't need to get this done in 4 days. I'm not, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I was telling my coordinator, I was like, I don't want to get anything done here. I just want you to give me a consult. If I like what I hear, then we can start. I didn't like what I heard. And he was like, okay, well, if you want to do treatment, I was like, I do, but I teach English here. I was like, I can't shave all my teeth off and then speak all day. I was like, so we can start on a day that I have off, so that my mouth has a little bit of time to calm down and I can speak. And he was like, all right, well, you're gonna have to put a deposit down. I was like, okay. And I was like, do you take card? He was like, yeah. He was like, let me go downstairs and talk to the people, whatever. So he comes back upstairs and he's like, for the card, it's going to be a 20% upcharge for the 20% fee for your American card.
Right.
I was like, well, that's not happening. And then he was like, well, we can go to the ATM right next door and get the money. I was like, well, that's not happening. And so I like kind of sighed and put my hand on my face. He's like, no, don't be upset, my friend. He was like, he's like, we go to ATM right now. I was like, no, we don't go to ATM right now. That's not going to happen. So he walks me downstairs and I'm like, no, like this whole thing's kind of like put me off a little bit. I'm like not interested in having a procedure with you. He blocks the door.
Blocks the
door. He's like, no, like it's okay. Like we're gonna figure this out. Blah blah blah.
What do you mean? That's just weird,
and,
man.
Yeah, and he was like, to here to me, and I was like,
Ken is tall.
Yeah, I'm really tall. But I was like, if you don't move out of the car, I get a little confrontational because I felt that that's what he was trying to do, but in a passive way. So I told him, I was like, if you don't move from this door, I'm gonna move you from the door.
The door.
Right, move you and the door. So yeah, that was the craziest experience. And I've had stuff like that happen before too, with like taxis, like them trying to bump the meter up. And
Are you serious?
yeah,
Wow.
because they think that I don't know, that I've never been here before.
Yeah, that's one of the funny things about the perception of foreigners sometimes. People think like just because you're a foreigner, you don't know basics of life.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like, okay, I saw taxis before.
Right,
I know what
right.
taxi meter is. You know,
Right.
like
And not only basics of life, but I've been here a while, and I was
you've
so
been
it's-
living here for a while. Yeah,
So I mean, I
True,
know.
True. Yeah. True.
I'm one of the brighter light bulbs in the box.
nice. What about Turkish? Did you learn any Turkish thing?
So I know, I know like the basics.
Okay,
like,
what are the basics?
Like good morning, yes, hello,
And try.
What do you mean try? Like, say,
You said, I know good morning. Okay, good
like
morning.
Günaydın.
Yeah, günaydın. Okay.
Yeah, evet.
But you're doing good. You're doing good. Merhaba.
Yeah. Just
Do you know what is merhaba? Do you like go on a conversation like merhaba?
yeah, like I started like that, but then they start
How
talking to
are
me all
you?
fast. Yeah. Yeah.
How are you?
I,
Okay, nasılsın?
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 Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any cuss? Anything? Any bad words?
No.
Nothing.
No, I wish I knew some bad words. 'Cause I have
After
a few
the
for
camera
some
is
people
off.
here.
Yeah, after camera is
Yeah.
off, we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah,
On the
cool.
backyard.
Because they could
Nice.
use a few words.
Did you meet any friends, Turkish friends?
Not Turkish friends, but I have foreigner friends.
Okay.
So other Americans, Canadians.
Cool.
My boss, Sarah, is from Virginia. She's actually the reason why I felt, so to go back a little bit about what we were talking about, why I came here the first time. She runs an aftercare company. She's the first person that was certified by the Turkish Ministry of Health to give aftercare services
Nice.
to patients for cosmetic surgery. And she kind of made me feel more comfortable with coming here because she's from Virginia. That's right next door to North Carolina. And yeah, I know mostly foreigners.
I see. And now your plan in Turkey is to continue your career in
Medical tourism.
medical tourism.
Start my own business, get that up and running. I'm in talks with some transportation companies and
Nice.
people that I have in mind to do tours around the city.
Cool.
Yeah.
So basically, you're planning to stay here for long.
Yeah, for a long time.
Nice. We
Hopefully
got Ken in
forever.
town, guys.
Yeah. Hopefully forever if things get on the up and up with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
economy and politics
of
and
course.
blah.
Of course. Nice. And the last thing, do you have any message for all the Turkish people who want to move to California, let's say?
Don't. I would suggest just doing a fair bit of research on both sides. So I know that you can find a lot of positive things about the state, but I also recommend digging a little bit deeper to figure out exactly what you're getting yourself into. Because so a lot of people ask me, why would you move here? It's because
That's something you get that, right?
all
Like
the
every time.
Yeah. But I've lived in both. So it's people who've
Lived in California, you've lived in Istanbul,
Istanbul.
yeah.
And it's mostly people who have just lived here who ask me, why would you? And you just really have to live in both to make an educated decision. So if you plan to move to California, maybe a trial run, go on a tourist visa, explore, see if that's really something that you want to do, explore other states and cities in the United States, and then make your decision. But I wouldn't hop on a plane and make that the destination for good.
I see. Because sometimes I understand that life can get tough.
Right.
And there are different reasons. And people feel like moving to another location would be okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to press that button. Everything's going to be fine.
Right. That's not the case.
That's not the case,
Yeah.
really, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Any last message, any questions you have for us?
I think the only question I have for you is, what is your favorite part about living here in Istanbul?
About Istanbul? I think millions of opportunity. It's just like you've got a city with 20 million population, and that means 20 million opportunities every day. And no matter how many times you fail, you can start all over again.
You can always get back up.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. So it's just that one thing I really like about Istanbul is that you wake up, you leave your bed, and you don't know how you're going to end the day.
Right.
You know, how are you going to come back home that day? You know what I'm talking about? That's just unexpected journey.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about Istanbul.
Okay.
Yeah. Any last message to our audience? Anything you would like to say?
To the Turkish people watching, keep the faith. Things will get better. It's never too late. And appreciate the country you're in because it's great.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching us. We hope we can have Ken sometime later again in a future episodes. Please contact us, info@metotalk.cafe. Subscribe, comment. If you don't want to do any of those, just don't. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It was great talking to you guys. Yeah, anyway. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
So anyway, the Jewish question.
And about Jews.